What flavor coffee is that?
That's a good question.
Are you still a pumpkin spice girl?
No.
Is it too
It's
late
too
now?
sweet. I think it's just a latte
Isn't it just nice coffee?
with milk.
No, an iced coffee with milk is just iced coffee.
Yeah.
A latte?
A latte has milk.
You can't just put cream in a coffee and call it a latte.
I can understand that.
I'm excited to have this conversation about what the Lord has done in this house. I'm sure that we've all got so many stories that we could share. We could go on and on. Aaron,
Yeah.
I remember meeting you. And I was gonna say, that I gotta share, dude. I gotta share our story about you wearing the Canada Goose.
Oh yeah,
with the fur.
Yeah.
In the movie theater, I was like, "Oh, you got the fur on? Okay."
And
Was that your first time?
It was probably the second time or something,
Okay.
but I didn't know it. Like, there's a few familiar faces,
Right.
but I was like, I took a good, over a decade hiatus from going to church. I wasn't looking for a church. Like, I was kind of content with where I was at. I was unknowingly discontent, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I went to Rose, and then as soon as I heard Pastor Mark preach, I was like, first of all, this dude looks cool. Like, as soon as a preacher has tattoos, it's instant, like, okay. But then just his passion for what he was preaching about, and it was all biblical. It wasn't just, this is my opinion. He was really just trying to,
Yeah.
preach biblical truths.
Right.
So then I was like, okay, well, I really kind of took a step back, and I'm like, I don't feel fulfilled where I'm at. And I was at the point in my spiritual walk where, like, okay, I want to get my hands dirty.
Right.
Like, I don't want to just.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's why when you guys were like, I want to go and just sit at the back, I was like, as soon as I went to Rose, I'm like, I want to jump in.
Come on.
Like, where can I jump in?
Yeah.
I remember talking to Colin. I was like, you guys need me? I'll come in and load team.
Yeah.
Like, well, you need to start
That was
getting.
so evident from you.
Yeah, like as soon as I was just like, I just want to.
Yeah.
I want to be involved with whatever's going on.
Right.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember, my first time, I remember meeting Pastor Mark back in 2019 in that, where am I at phase? And he was like, yeah, I'm planning church. We were planning church, me and my wife. I'm like, you're crazy. Like, ain't nobody staying on here on purpose. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I was in a season where I really kind of just wanted to get out. Like, fast forward 2022. I surrendered that. I was like, Lord,
Yeah.
And I remember Rose Church, and my first Sunday was Vision Sunday, and I was like taken back from the passion that these pastors had for this city that I felt like I fell out of love for. And I was like, okay. When I heard him say,
the local church is the hope of the world, because we know the hope of the world. And so we have to decide to tell people about Jesus.
the local church is the hope of the world because we know the hope of the world, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
2-3 months later, I got, I think it was Pastor Mark or somebody was like, hey, are you going to ARC conference? I'm like, what's an ARC conference? Never. And so, like, I was finding more information about that, and ARC, Association, the Association of Related Churches, right? I should know that. You know, our pastors planted Rose Church through them, and so they do this annual conference that we all know of and love. And so my first year, I mean, like, my first time here, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it, whatever, right? Fast forward like 4 extra months, like the Lord has moved in my life. I'm like, oh goodness, I want to like serve full-time ministry. Like ARC was coming up, you know, the opportunity to serve on staff came up. I remember praying this prayer, and I told Pastor Mark about this once. I was like, man, so like it was in a season where it got really hard, and I was like, Lord, all I did was just walk through some movie theater doors, and here I am on staff. But it's like, he's like, yeah, exactly. And look what I did. And going to ARC was just like it was just a beautiful moment to be in a room full of people that are so passionate for Jesus and to make a move in this nation.
What like impacted me the most is just the community that just gathers together in a room and just seeing the like fire in everyone's
Yeah.
heart
Yeah.
and just like wanting more and receiving like
Yeah.
God's truth and just
right.
being so moved by that, but
Yeah.
also like watching our community like get closer together.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it just created such a tight knit
Right.
family. I don't know.
Right.
It was just so great, and every message was just so moving, and I feel
Yeah.
like everybody took something out of that.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think it always ignited more like hunger and just like, Lord, how can you use me?
Yes.
And what can I do?
Yes.
Just to, like do your work,
Right.
your hands and feet.
You said something in like the last 5 seconds there. Do more. I always got that sense coming back from ARC. ARC last year, this is crazy. And ARC this year, it's like, I feel like the Lord gave, such a vision for our next gen ministries. And I came back amped. And I feel like our pastors function from a place of like, Lord, how could we do more? You know what I'm saying? How can I extend a hand? And earlier this spring, we had the awesome opportunity to partner with World Vision, with Chosen, right? And gave the opportunity for a child to choose his family. And so Pastor Mark was like, hey, we're going to do this thing.
Yeah.
Not only are we going to do this thing, you know how PM does it. He's like, we're going to sponsor 100 kids, right? And World Vision was here, and we did the thing, and it was insane.
But isn't that cool? Because it's a concept of we're not here to serve ourselves.
Right.
And it also takes us out of that thinking that it's our ministry and our world and our church view is just here. It's
Here,
part of that love is going to transcend,
Sure,
right? And,
sure.
and I like that. It's very practical in a cool way of keeping us somewhat grounded.
Right.
Natalia is the child that we're sponsoring, so
Yeah.
we've been writing letters back and
nice.
forth.
That's
So
beautiful.
it's just to be able to kind of reach across the world to affect
Right.
another family and
Right.
and just help out where we can. Yeah,
Right.
it's just it's awesome, and it's what God calls us to do. So.
Totally. Yeah.
Right.
Like, sitting here and being obedient to God's call is changing somebody's life and another person's life, and from that person another person's life, and it's so beautiful. And I get reminded of that from things like Chosen, but I think, man, and you could speak to this, man, Rose Youth, Next Gen Ministry, but specifically Rose Youth. I mean, this year we launched in January. We launched right in January, man. We're not that old, and we're like, let's go to LA. We're gonna go to LA, mission trip. We're gonna equip the saints, these young saints, because they're the leaders of today. And so we're gonna equip them today for the work of the ministry.
It was life-changing.
Right.
It was life-changing for obviously the kids,
Yeah.
obviously the leaders,
Yeah.
and the people that we were serving, but then other people that we were serving alongside with as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was such a beautiful trip seeing the Holy Spirit just move.
Yeah.
And move through the leaders, but move through the kids.
For a lot of these kids, like, this is I believe the first time they're hearing like stories like this of folks that went through it but met God. And in this moment, it's like, I think that's where it started unlocking something in their heart. It's like, well, God can move. Well, if God could do that, what could He do through me?
Totally.
In me. And then all of this came from that question: how could we do more?
Just last night at youth, Jayla was talking to me. She actually, after she went to a restaurant, had some leftover food, found a houseless person, homeless person, gave the food to them, and actually talked to that person for 45 minutes, witnessed to them, and asked if they knew Jesus. Like, this is an 18-year-old.
Wow.
Like, that's
amazing.
Wow.
that's bold. But that's what that experience did for them.
Exactly.
Like, to just boldly go up to someone and just
Now
start
they're
talking.
asking themselves that question: Lord, how can I do more
Exactly.
in this city?
Like, exactly.
Oh, what?
And
so
it's incredible.
It's incredible, and God is moved. It's so, I'm just like, I'm feeling like the goosebumps right now.
Yeah.
Like, man, the Lord is moving, and He wants to bring transformation. Like, and I want to talk about the miracle of this building.
Me, I'm a skeptical person, so right when Pastor Mark says we're going to raise $250,000, I'm thinking, I don't know if we're going to hit that.
On Sunday, but then on Monday you're like, wait, hold on.
He's setting the bar high.
Yeah.
You know, and don't limit God in your thinking, because He can do the amazing, right? The impossible, the things that you don't expect.
The whole time during that experience, the song we were singing was More Than Able. And the line that always stuck with me from it was, who am I to deny what the Lord can do?
Yeah.
And then I always, like, on the surface, it was always like, hey, like, who am I to deny what the Lord can do, like an external thing? But it's like, no, who am I to stop what the Lord can do through me? That's how I always heard that line. So, like, just feeling like a conduit, things coming in, donations, just like different details, contractors, the whole mess of it all.
Matt said to me once, he's like, we all have a brick, and when we're building something, you just lay your brick down. And if everyone, in the church will just be diligent to do that, like, imagine what you could build.
Exactly.
Now that I sit in here, I'm like, you almost like forget the good old movie theater days of like having to like set up in the morning and then like putting everything away. But like the Lord was still moving there, and like how much He's doing here is insane. Everything that we prayed for, like pre-launch, launch, and now what the Lord is doing is incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think what I'm seeing is a real deepening of a hunger.
Right.
And as have the privilege of just coming alongside people, I'm seeing firstly their own relationship with Jesus grow, becoming something that is not an addition to their life, but the core center of their life.
Right.
One of the things in our Connect group that was so powerful was as we went around the room last year and just said, hey, what's on your heart for what this group can be? One of the women just said, if it's not of Jesus, I just don't want it. And that became really the theme, and it's continued, that theme. And I think that's what I'm seeing is people, as they're walking through life that has the good, the bad, and the really hard, is they're realizing that Jesus is it. And He's it for our city. And that if He's in me, and if I love Him, and that's where it starts and it's solid, we get that teaching every week from Pastors Mark and Roberta of how Jesus is number one. And if that's it, then how does that look in our lives, in our families, in our relationships, and in everybody that we meet outside of this building, right?
It's really easy to get caught up in again, just mundane, the flow, the jargon that we toss around, but the Lord is making a move in this house.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And He is transforming lives.
Right. Not everything that He asks us to do in my mind is like what I want to do, but it's always for good. Like I always see the fruit of it.
And you could trust that.
I can trust it. I can trust that when He asks me to do something, it's good.
Yes.
It will be good, even if I don't see it now.
Right.
But like, look at
And
us
we
now.
don't need
Like,
to. But
then,
exactly.
I was like, oh my gosh. But now I'm seeing the fruit of it now.
Right.
So it was so worth it.
There are people that are looking for belonging, people that need to hear about Jesus. We need to function in a place of like, okay, Lord, how could we do more?
The vision for me is still the same. From when we moved into this building, we wrote prayers on that wall, and one of the things, what I wrote was that Rose would be the place where the prodigals will come home.
Right.
Because I feel like there's, I guess with every generation, no matter the age, there's always a group of people who left the church or whatever.
Right.
But just the world is just so chaotic, and I guess nothing's new under the sun.
Right.
Bible says, but it just feels very just in your face right now. I guess just with the internet and everything. But I just envision Rose to be that place where the Holy Spirit will move through us through Pastor Mark and Roberta you know.
Yeah.
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 You know,
Yeah.
Jesus said, I haven't come to save the healthy, but to save the sick, the lost, the broken, of which we can all identify within ourselves. But also when you look at this city and the love that we have for this city, that's our heart.
Yeah.
That's our prayer, that they would find, you know, we always say, welcome home.
Yeah.
That they would, that those that are lost, that those that are hurting, that those that don't know Jesus would find relationship, and that they could grow and heal and begin a new life journey here in this house, in this home. That would be a beautiful thing for that just to explode
Yeah.
in a real way.
Right.
More miracles upon miracles. I mean, we're in this building.
Right.
It was a miracle. I mean, it was a miracle that, you know, the church went through COVID, started online.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then got to the movie theater. We're here in this building.
Right.
I think the sky's the limit.
Well, and think about the second chapter of Acts, like that, the church that grew, that the Holy Spirit just showed up in a powerful way. I mean, you guys have been sharing these amazing stories already of what Holy Spirit is doing in our midst. Jesus said that I'm going to go so that someone even greater, and again, it's not about us, but what he wants to do.
Right.
Yeah.
What you just described, Mark, like how, imagine what God still wants to do
Absolutely.
here. Like this is,
Yeah.
I love the miracles that, you know, have happened already, but honestly, God's wanting to do a new thing. He's inviting us to say, you know, think big, because it's just, this is just starting.
It's just beginning.
He's just building the foundation here.
Sure.
He's, you know, and if we just cooperate and
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
know when to get out of the way, and
Yeah.
wow, what's he gonna do, right?
Yeah. This conversation has motivated me. It's been so good. And I'm so glad we had it. Love you guys so much.
Yeah. Love you, bro.
This is awesome.
It's been good.